Welcome back to Hollywood Pulse. Appreciate all the support y'all been showing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single drop. Shannon Sharpe looked unstoppable. Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, one of the loudest forces on First Take. And let's not forget, he built Club Shay Shay from the ground up. That show flipped athletes into influencers and turned rappers into deep thinkers. Whether he was trading jabs with Stephen A. Smith or chopping it up with hip-hop legends, Sharpe was the moment. But now, that same voice that had the culture on lock is caught in something way darker. We're talking about a $50 million lawsuit that hit like a lightning bolt. Nobody in sports media saw this coming. Sharpe's being accused of assault, control, manipulation, and even worse, filed anonymously. Just Jane Doe.
And that the sex was about handcuffs, choking, putting on dog collars.
Do you get those?
But Tony Busby says this is key evidence in our case against Mr. Sharpe, so it will not be coming out. He will not be leaking this.
And saying basically it's going to come out during the trial.
Right.
If there's a trial.
If there's a trial, it will come out, which to me sounds like he's still dangling it over Shannon's head to say, we can meet, we can settle this, or we can go forward into a trial, and then the video is gonna come.
But that lawsuit, it dropped in April, and people still ain't recovered from the shock. She says she met Sharpe at a gym in LA when she was just 20, a young influencer trying to make it. Sharpe, who was way older, allegedly told her he'd pay for her surgery if she won some fitness contest. But instead of a prize, she claims she got locked in a twisted relationship she couldn't escape. He's like verbal control, threats, and dominating her time and body. She says it ended violently, and she's got audio to back it up. That clip, if you heard it, you know. A man's voice, sounding just like Sharpe, says, "If you say that word one more time, I'm gonna choke the mess out of you." She responds shaky. "I don't want to be choked," he answers cold. "Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice." Less than a minute long, but it broke the internet. Was it roleplay gone left? A heated lovers fight? Or proof of something way darker? Sharpe's camp says it's all lies. Blackmail, plain and simple. But then Dave Chappelle stepped in and dropped a cryptic bomb on stage in DC. According to folks who were there, Dave said, "It ain't random. Y'all know what happens when a brother talks too loud, too long, and too smart." Some saw it as shade at cancel culture. Others, a warning. Was Sharpe being punished? Not for what he did, but for who he became. And don't forget, his show changed the game. Sharpe didn't just make headlines. He made enemies. He gave Kanye a seat at the table when nobody else would, right in the middle of his wildest meltdown. Then he brought on Cat Williams, who torched Hollywood's elite without holding back. He let Deion Sanders preach about tearing the system down, had T.D. Jakes quoting scripture like it was Sunday service, and even welcomed guests who went directly at ESPN. For people inside the game, Club Shay Shay wasn't just content, it was a threat. A viral, Black-owned force that refused to follow the rules. So when whispers started about a so-called media fraternity, a secret crew of gatekeepers controlling who stays on air and who gets buried, folks started asking, was Shannon too loud, too powerful for the system to handle? But if this is a takedown, the receipts are getting messy. Jane Doe's lawsuit ain't the only red flag. Back in 2010, another ex, Michelle Bundy, filed a restraining order. She claimed Sharpe forced himself on her during a fight, then threatened her into silence. She never pressed criminal charges, said she was terrified. But she did file civil papers and later sued for defamation after Sharpe allegedly tried to downplay it on air.
So are now beginning to bring up past things that have happened with Shannon Sharpe, including a temporary restraining order that was filed against him back in 2010 from a woman that he was dealing with at the time who accused him of sexual assault. He said in different things. Now, this was dropped. It was dismissed.
Back then, folks brushed it off. Now, it's being picked apart, frame by frame. A tearful video she dropped just weeks ago shows a woman who says Sharpe wanted to control everything. And here's the word people are throwing around now. Pattern. Because Jane Doe and Michelle aren't alone. There's more. 2 old arrests, 1995 and 2004, both in Georgia, both tied to women. One involved broken glass and chaos. The other, an allegation that Sharpe physically picked up a woman and forced her out of his house. No convictions, both cases settled, but they never disappeared. And now, they're back, and it gets darker. Jane Doe claims everything went down in Beverly Glen Mansion, that Sharpe lured her there, controlled her there, hurt her there. Now online detectives are digging. Reddit and X are flooded with talk of a hidden witness, a former employee, a friend. Nobody's saying names yet, but the word is out. Someone else may have seen it all, and they've either stayed silent or been shut up. Charleston White, never one to bite his tongue, snapped on IG Live. "You did something to that white girl. I believe her," he said. "Ain't no way white folks sent her. You just like raw meat." Then he really let loose, calling Shannon a sellout. Said he cozied up to white-owned media while ignoring real voices from the streets. Some called it ruthless. Others said it needed to be said. Either way, it poured fuel on a scandal that was already out of control. And the timing? Way too wild to ignore. While Sharpe's name is getting dragged, guess who's securing the bag?
Alrighty, y'all. So the Shannon Sharpe ESPN, does he still keep his job conversation is beginning to, I was going to say beginning to happen, but it's been happening, but I think now it's beginning to get louder because of different things that Attorney Busby has released, including the audios. So right now the conversation is, why is Shannon Sharpe still able to be on ESPN?
Charles Barkley just locked in a massive extension with ESPN, and folks are saying he's replacing Sharpe in more ways than one. And wait for it, Jason Kels is now being floated as the new face of First Take. Clean cut, charming, very viral, and yes, very white. Coincidence? Or is this the industry's way of trading controversy for comfort? We've seen it before. Just ask Rachel Nichols. And then there's the tape, or maybe just a clip, depending on who you ask. Sharpe warned that attorney Tony Busby might leak a 30-second video designed to make me look guilty.
According to reports, that video will not be released. Attorney Tony Busby came out and said that they are not planning to release that video how they were dropping audio, because it's a very strong point of their evidence in this case, and they're going to keep it and use it as such.
Court.
Yeah. Now, that is interesting because Shannon Sharpe, remember, he kept saying he believes the video was going to come out. He believes the video was going to come out. So there's been a change there somehow.
He claims the full footage, if it's ever dropped, tells a whole different story. His legal team says the short clip is just wild roleplay taken out of context. And to back it up, they released texts, messages from Jane Doe allegedly asking to be choked, even telling him, "Put a dog collar around my neck and do me like an animal." But is that consent or a setup? Sources close to Sharpe told TMZ this was never about love, just grown folks doing grown things. They said it was 100% consensual until the relationship soured and the gifts stopped. That's when she went to court. Sharpe's team is calling it a straight-up money grab, but her lawyer clapped back. No means no. He said she wasn't playing. She was scared. Now the scandal's off the screen and into real life. In a recent Nightcap episode, Sharpe lost it on camera, told someone off-screen to shut the fuckin' up. Chad and Joe Johnson sat frozen while the clip blew up online. Was it just stress? Or the pressure finally cracking him wide open? Sharpe says he'll be back by preseason, but inside ESPN, folks are whispering a different story. One insider said the newsroom feels like a war zone. Another said morale's in the basement. Some staffers even threatened to quit over Sharpe's behavior and his very young girlfriend. Now, with 2 lawsuits, old arrests, leaked audio, and whispers of a tape, the real question isn't if he's coming back, it's how he ever thought he could. Meanwhile, while Sharpe fights for survival, Charles Barkley is winning in silence. He just inked a jaw-dropping deal with ESPN, reportedly worth $210 million. And get this, he didn't just sign it, he wrote the terms himself. Production credits, creative control, multiple platforms. No scandal, no drama, just business done right. while Sharpe's empire hangs by a thread. You can't miss the contrast. Two bold black voices in sports, both loud, both legends. But while one is climbing toward executive power, the other just got pushed off the biggest stage of his career. So let's ask what nobody at ESPN wants to answer. Why was Sharpe let go so fast? Was it really about the allegations? Or was this just a convenient excuse to show him the door? When Barkley made jokes about women in San Antonio or threw shade at politicians live on air, corporate didn't blink. They laughed, backed him up, and kept cutting the checks. But when it came to Sharpe, one leaked audio clip and suddenly it's all, he needs time to reflect. We're not saying he's innocent, Benal, but come on, the double standard is loud. Now execs are scrambling to replace him. The name at the top? Jason Kelce. Safe, polished, corporate approved. He fits their mold. But what about Sharpe's unfiltered connection with the culture? He wasn't just a talking head. He was the fire, the risk, the edge. And maybe that's why they stopped protecting him. Insiders say the suits at ESPN already felt he was veering too personal. Translation? They wanted him to keep it cute, stick to touchdowns, and skip the truth. And now, just as Sharpe hits rock bottom, in comes Charleston White, a wild card with no filter and zero chill. These two been at odds, but now Charleston's going nuclear. He called Sharpe a black sellout, a media puppet, and even went as far as saying he's part of a boys' club that protects the fake and buries the real. On the Danza Project, Charleston said, they get platforms because they play the part.
To whom much is given, much is required, right? And once you've reached a certain stature, it's like the old folks always used to tell you, boy, don't let that money go to your head, right? And now, a lot of times, people just are who they are. And you're looking at Shannon, his brand has never really been anything that said he might not be into some of the things that we're learning, right? You could go back to the IG Live, or you could listen to some of the things that he promotes as sponsors of his show, or just certain ways he talks about women during night, right? And like I say, people are gonna feel how they feel about the age gap and what that means to them, right? My preference isn't that. If I have, and I do have a 20-year-old daughter, my preference for her, my advice to her, the things that I will and will not be comfortable with for her aren't that, right? I wouldn't be comfortable with my daughter who is 20 dating someone his age, but that's also...
And that shot hit deep. He even vowed to embarrass Sharpe on his own show if they ever cross paths. And let's be real, in today's media chaos, that could actually happen. But here's what's weird. Why is Charleston's voice getting louder right now? Is this just personal beef? Or is somebody pulling strings behind the scenes to turn up the pressure? We've seen this play out before. The rebel gets amplified, the icon gets buried, and somewhere off camera, the power moves are happening, and fans are feeling it. Some say Sharpe's being left to rot by the same system he helped blow up. Old charges from the 90s and early 2000s, long buried, are suddenly back in rotation, like somebody hit rewind on purpose. Now folks who once called him a trailblazer are breaking down every moment like it's a crime scene. Every soundbite, every side eye. Now it's all evidence. And where's his backup? ESPN ? Silent. His podcast crew? Frozen. Even Stephen A. Smith, who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Sharpe, hasn't said a word. And that silence? It's deafening. We're watching a man get erased in real time. Guilty or not, Shannon Sharpe is being stripped of everything. His show, his name, his future. And it's all happening before any judge says a word. This ain't court, it's public opinion. And out here, facts don't matter. Perception runs the show. One messy headline, and your whole legacy can vanish overnight. But don't be fooled. Perception is crafted on purpose. Behind the scenes, legal teams are pulling strings, spinning stories, dropping evidence like breadcrumbs. Sharpe's team made a risky move. Bold to some, reckless to others.
Once again, I've never seen anybody handle a situation worse than Shannon and his team. Like they just handled it wrong from the whole beginning.
Yeah, well.
They released a string of graphic text messages, allegedly from Jane Doe, trying to flip the narrative. The messages were explicit. no sugarcoating. In one, she seemed to crave domination. In another, she joked about money in exchange for bedroom favors. Sharpe's side said the texts proved it was all consensual. But instead of shutting things down, it lit the internet on fire. Was it transparency or straight-up manipulation? Critics came in hot. To many, dropping those texts looked more like public shaming than self-defense, and it raised a deeper question. Should anyone's private fantasies or bedroom talk be dragged out like this just to win in the court of public opinion? What message does that send? That speaking up means every moment of your personal life might be thrown under a microscope? Even legal pros warned. Sure, it might help in court, but culturally, this could backfire hard. Because here's the truth, context matters. A text today doesn't erase pressure tomorrow. Consent ain't permanent. It can shift, be revoked, or get twisted. But Sharpe's team doubled down. Their angle? Paint her as a willing participant, not a victim. A strategy that bites both ways. To some, those texts are proof. To others, they scream desperation, a man clinging to his image, no matter who gets hurt. This is textbook crisis control. Change the subject, stir up new drama, and drown out the real accusations. Get the public arguing over raunchy texts instead of the serious stuff. But in today's world, where screenshots are currency and nobody waits for context, that game can blow up fast, especially when Jane Doe's side is accusing them of cherry-picking messages while hiding darker ones. This isn't just a scandal, it's a straight-up media battle zone. Both sides are playing chess, not just in court, but in the spotlight. Sharpe's camp wants him seen as misunderstood and targeted. Jane Doe's side is pushing the image of a manipulator in disguise. Between them, a mess of claims, emotions, receipts, and a whole lot of smoke nobody can see through. And Sharpe isn't the only one in danger. This case is peeling back the pretty packaging on an industry built on polished images and protected faces. While Barkley thrives, Sharpe sinks. That's not random. That's a power structure working just like it's meant to. So if someone as loud and connected as Sharpe can be iced out this quick, who's next? Is this really the fall of a flawed man? Or the first shot in a bigger war over who gets to speak and who gets silenced? Let's talk about it. Was Shannon Sharpe taken down by his own actions or by a system that couldn't handle him being too real for too long? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and smash that subscribe so you never miss the next twist in this wild story. Stay sharp, and I'll see you on the next one.